I'm scared of 2024, so here's 3 optimistic thoughts. Could be interesting. Optimism for 2024.
Good morning, John. The year was 2016, when suddenly everybody started to talk about dumpster fires a lot. We even made a shirt, a 2016 dumpster fire shirt.
Bro, people have been doing the so long year, finally year in the past, for so long that we don't even believe it anymore. Like, nobody for this year was like, finally, 2023 is over, now 24 is going to be good. We did that for like 5 straight, yeah, like we did it for like 8 years straight. It really, like, this was the first year I've seen nobody even bother to do it. It has been really interesting since 2016, for sure, it feels like. I feel like, you know, Gen Alpha is going to grow up and be like, these were the good days. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just a little bit of nostalgia. I think they're going to be like, dude, Skibbity Toilet, Fortnite, everything was great. It was relaxing. I played PS5. Remember PS5? Nowadays, these consoles are fucking stupid, but PS5 is great. I feel like that's unironically going to happen. The way I've seen it happen is with every movie that I know was bad from like 15 years ago is now suddenly a classic because kids liked it when they were young and now they're old enough to have an internet presence. Like, so many movies that were guaranteed bad are now like fucking amazing. Everyone thinks they're fucking super deep, super good. They have 100 fucking essays about them.
And then we had 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and, oh my God, 2020 and then 2021 and 2022. And now we've had 2023. Dumpster fires all the way down. I am worried that artificial intelligence will make it even harder for young people to find a place in the American economy.
Metaverse solves the problem. They'll have jobs in the metaverse. What of those years, let's say 2016 to 2020, 2023, worst year? I guess it really depends on the person, huh? It's so funny. Every normal person will say 2020. Every streamer will be like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, such a bad year. No, I get you. I totally get you. 2020, man, that was awful. It was so funny because if you made online content in any form, 2020 was like the greatest year in history. It was like a money printing machine. Everybody was at home. Everybody's views were up. Anything you put online got views. Marketers were spending tons. Creator economy buzzword was everywhere. There was all these fucking startups that were like, hey, I just got $40 million to invest in the creator economy. Can I pay you fucking 15 grand to say GlizzyTube or whatever? I mean, it was just a crazy time, 2020. And then also, you know, lived in Silicon Valley and there was no traffic. But the other 2020 is probably, when you don't think about it from that POV, pretty shit.
I'm worried about a rise in nationalism and nativism that has made things worse for a lot of people. And
I agree with that. That being said, if I see one more European fuck talk shit on our great malls, I'm fucking enlisting. USA! And everyone in this chat is gonna bleed red, white, and blue to defend Arizona's malls. Outside of that, though, I agree. Nationalism, it's bad. I'm Canadian. How do I enlist? Oh my God, are we starting a brotherhood here? Are we getting NAFTA together? Let's call up Mexico. Ari will get Mexico involved and we'll get a fucking full-on NAFTA allegiance.
I am certain, unlike a lot of my social media feed for some reason, that Donald Trump will be on the ballot in November and his mere existence there is way too close to him being president again.
Just to be clear, I do think Trump will be on the ballot and I think if nothing changes, he'll win. I don't even get to have a hot take. I think he's like, right now, I'm not going to vote for him, for sure. And I'm going to try and make my case on stream, but I also want to be realistic that I don't know. That's what I think. Won't win Colorado? Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Any advice for avoiding election year drama? Do you mean like you have a politically divided family? That is tough. If you mean like you want to avoid all mention of politics altogether, then I don't know what to tell you because it's going to be important and people are going to talk about it. If you're a citizen of the country, then it's pretty good to get involved and informed. That being said, I can totally understand wanting to tune out some of the more toxic aspects of it, especially because it's non-productive. A lot of people just fucking yap back and forth, no progress, no change, no interest other than arguing. But if it's your family, dude, I saw it was this article and it was like a viral tweet of somebody talking about this guide to talking to your family about politics at Thanksgiving, and it was like, try some de-escalating language, and it was like the least de-escalating thing of all time. I can't remember. It was like, wow, that sounds pretty crazy. Yeah, you should calm down about that or something, you know? Because I've been in that situation. I think I told you that story. I have an uncle that has a gigantic "Let's Go Brandon" sign. Huge on their house, and they're a huge like fuck Joe Biden, fucking secretly trying to ship 10 million Mexicans into this country. But yeah, my grandma pulled up to the house to visit, and she was like super proud and happy because she thought he was supporting me. Which is funny because he has his own kids, and yet he'd have a fucking gigantic sign for his nephew. It was great. It was actually a very fun family story. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a crazy year. It's going to be, if you have family issues with it, I totally understand. I think the best thing you do, I know this is like not the popular thing to say. I think you never talk about it. I don't think you try to convince them. I don't think you try to sway them over. I don't think you try to like make your point. I think you just don't talk about it, and you make a fucking DMZ full of minds, and you just have because then you can still be family and you could like it. I do not think it is worth arguing. I know some people think they can convince them, and maybe you do. Maybe some people are great and they do convince them, but I think it's usually not worth it. Yeah, also, you know, like in general, one thing you will learn, not just from this, but in life in general, is that let's say somebody believes something, all right? They believe something at like a 6. They believe it at 6 out of 10. The second you try to convince them otherwise, now they believe it at an 8. And if you get into a real fight on it, then they go to a 10. And now they're looking up facts and how to like drill into that thing even more. People entrench themselves when you come at them. You can only convince someone from an angle. And this applies to you, by the way, as well. You might be like, you're at a 7, they're at a 6. And you're like, I'm going to explain to you why. And then they go to an 8, you go to a 9. And now suddenly that's a core belief of yours. Now suddenly, because you've argued about it, it is entrenched. That's how humans' brains work, and it sucks. It really sucks. You have to watch it for yourself. Everyone here does this themselves too. For example, if you like a movie, kind of, and then I say that's a shit movie, all of a sudden you're like, that's the best fucking movie I've ever seen. Hey, Truck, you're a fucking idiot. That's the best movie I've ever seen. It's so fucking good. You know what I'm saying? People entrench, okay? That's how it goes, all right? That's how it'll happen. It happens to me, happens to you, happens to everybody. And this is important. Like, this is gonna happen a lot in your life. You're gonna be at work having to have disagreements. Just whenever possible, try to go at an angle. Try to find some other way to convince them than try to argue. I don't care how good your facts are. Blackmail and death threats are effective. If you don't like Cars 3, I'll fucking kill you. Okay. You know what? I'm not out of 10. Cars 3 is pretty good.
And I'm worried that the reason that we're doing that is the exact same reason as why there's more nationalism, which is the complete disintegration of our media landscape.
Bro, in his optimistic thoughts video, he's starting out with like the most ranting, everything is terrible. Direct to camera, crazy hair. This is all right, Brian. The title's a bit of a, I mean, I'm sure you get optimistic, but this.
So like this video is somewhat inaccurately titled. I said that I was going to be optimistic, and then I had spent more than half of it discussing why I'm terrified.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Here are 3 optimistic
For sure.
thoughts. First, I don't think that we are letting generative AI have its way with us the way we did with content platforms.
You know, I don't know if I'm as optimistic as he is on this, but I do agree that like if you go back to 2013 era, Silicon Valley-ish, every startup was going to change the world. Every Silicon Valley founder was like a hero. There was like a global positivity, and especially a nationwide positivity about tech, and like tech can do no wrong. Tech's going to fix all our problems. That I think all of it was floated by cheap money subsidizing things. So you could get like fucking $2 Ubers, and you could get you could get shit delivered for free, and you could get Netflix with every piece of content for a low price. That was it. It was just investor money propping up business models that didn't make sense. Everybody's like, damn, this is great. Tech is really going to change everything. And then once they actually had to make money, they ended up going back to the same business models that they replaced basically with a shinier coat. Everyone was like, oh, well, that sucks.
Reduce the words and the art that these models were trained on are pushing back against that, in part because they did not give these companies permission to train their models on their art and...
This is true. I mean, you know, you think about like something like Netflix, for example, right? Netflix comes out of nowhere and they're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna put, well, they did the DVD stuff first, but eventually they're like, we're gonna put streaming on the internet and you can watch stuff. And every Hollywood company is so slow to adapt. They don't get it. And so they get completely fucking blindsided. They gave all their content for almost nothing. Netflix gets everything, gets a huge head start, gets an advantage. This time around, I mean, New York Times just did a fucking massive lawsuit against OpenAI because they found all their shit in the training data. Like they're like, hey, you literally took our articles and trained on it. We didn't give you permission. We're gonna get money. And it's like, that's happening. And I think they have good ground to stand on. It's gonna be something. So it is a little different. People aren't getting blindsided, I think, so much.
And meanwhile, a very good sign, I think, is that people are posting less. They're not leaving Twitter for threads. They're leaving Twitter for their group chat with their friends, or they're leaving Twitter to go for a walk.
Yeah, we talked about this. They're not leaving Twitter to go for a walk. They're not doing that. But there is a shift away from people who are not content creators using social media to post at all. It's 100% the rise of the group chat. The group chat has been like the new social network. People just have their multitude of group chats. They post their stuff there. It's a losing game. If you're not trying to make something for mass consumption, the algorithms don't even want you anymore for social media. Like, they have been completely re-optimized to be like feeding you content from people that are professional content creators, really. That's what it is. It's not, you don't see friends and family stuff anymore. And so people are turning to group chats and they're turning away from social media, which is interesting and I think overall positive. That is cool. It is a good direction. Anything that reduces social media power actually is good.
We are the weirdest thing in the known universe. And like, my least optimistic and most forgiving take about that is, it's very hard to be this weird. John, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Oh, well, that wasn't very optimistic at all. that was the ramblings of a man who is deeply pessimistic, I think. Dude, honestly, I feel like in some ways I'm more optimistic than that guy, except for about the economy. I tend to disagree.